Over the last few weeks, Diet Coke has been vanishing from Indian store shelves and refrigerators. Finding a can has turned into a treasure hunt. When you ask Coca-Cola why, the official answer points to rising global tensions disrupting supply chains, which has led to a massive shortage of aluminum cans. But that excuse falls apart when you look at the raw numbers. India is the second largest producer of aluminum on Earth, sitting on enough bauxite reserves to last for the next 3.5 centuries. You can still walk into any store and easily grab a standard, thick-bodied Coke. It is only the Diet Coke that is missing in action. The difference comes down to the engineering. Diet Coke uses a slim can. To manufacture that specific shape without it collapsing under pressure, you need a highly specific alloy grade and a much thinner gauge of metal. And here is the uncomfortable truth. India currently lacks the commercial capacity to produce this specific, high-tolerance, precision-rolled sheet aluminum at scale. Despite sitting on mountains of raw rock, our inability to physically manipulate that metal into advanced, thin sheets creates a completely artificial shortage right here at home. To understand where we lose our wealth, look at this 5-stage aluminum production funnel. It starts with mining raw rock and moves to finished goods. The bottom 3 stages, mining, refining, and primary smelting, yield low profit margins of just 10 to 25%. This is exactly where India operates. We dominate these early stages, doing the dirty, energy-intensive heavy lifting to produce primary aluminum. But the real money is at the top of the funnel. When you move up to stage 4 rolling mills and stage 5 finished goods, profit margins jump to 20 to 40%. In these highly lucrative stages, India's presence is virtually non-existent. We operate strictly at the bottom of the value chain. We supply the raw materials and then surrender the most profitable manufacturing margins to foreign nations. The reason Indian businesses cannot build those high-margin factories comes down to what you can call the aluminum trap. The government levies a 7.5% import duty on raw primary aluminum, a policy initially designed to protect India's large domestic mining monopolies. Because foreign metal is taxed, domestic monopolies know that local factories have no cheaper alternative, so they artificially raise their domestic prices to match the taxed import rate. A small Indian factory ends up paying global premium prices for metal mined in their own backyard. Now, contrast that raw material tax with India's free trade agreements. Under these agreements, fully finished foreign products can enter the country with a 0% import duty. Look at this side-by-side cost breakdown. For an Indian manufacturer, taxed raw aluminum pushes the cost of a can to 10.4 rupees. Meanwhile, a Korean factory buys cheaper, untaxed metal, pays 0 import duty to ship it here, pricing their can at just 9.77 rupees. Faced with that math, Coca-Cola India makes the obvious decision. They purchase the finished Korean cans and save hundreds of crores on their supply chain. By taxing our own raw materials, but leaving foreign finished goods entirely untaxed, the government mathematically forces India to export cheap rock to places like Korea, only to buy it back as an expensive can. The Diet Coke shortage reveals a structural gap that defines the broader Indian economy. This same missing middle, the lack of precision manufacturing, stretches across our most vital industries. We proudly call ourselves the pharmacy of the world, yet we rely entirely on China to import 70. We mine massive volumes of iron ore, but are forced to import specialty steel to build our own high-speed bullet train projects. We hold the 3rd largest reserves of rare earth minerals on the planet, but completely lack the commercial-scale factories required to turn them into advanced magnets. Across all these sectors, the pattern is identical. India possesses immense raw wealth, but we completely lack the mid-tier, precision manufacturing capabilities required to actually capitalize on it. The Make in India initiative has to confront this specific gap. Boasting about how many centuries of raw rock we have buried in the ground is meaningless without the industrial capacity to process it. Becoming a true economic superpower requires owning the complex, high-tolerance, and high-margin manufacturing stages right in the middle of the value chain. Until we dismantle these contradictory tax traps and fill the precision manufacturing vacuum, India will remain stuck in a vicious cycle, digging up our own soil, selling it for pennies, and buying it back at a premium.